Feeling down? Your brain needs music. Here's the proof. Great! I'll research how music impacts mood and mental health, including scientific insights, real-life examples, and relevant studies. The goal is to create a 20-minute friendly and engaging YouTube video script in English with detailed, well-structured content. I'll let you know once the full content is ready for your review. The impact of music on mood and mental health. Introduction, narrator, hello and welcome. Ever had a day when a song completely changed your mood? Imagine feeling down after a long day, then your favorite upbeat track comes on. Suddenly you're tapping your foot and feeling a smile creep in. We've all experienced how music can lift us up or, at times, make us tear up. Music isn't just background noise, it's deeply connected to our emotions and mental state. In fact, music is a universal language, present in every known culture on Earth. Across ages and cultures, people use music as a powerful mood regulator to soothe sadness, pump up joy, or calm anxiety. Researchers have even identified mood control as one of the primary reasons we listen to. This connection between music and our everyday emotions is why the topic, the impact of music on mood and mental health, matters so much. Narrator, in this video, we'll explore why music has such profound effects on our feelings. We'll journey through the science of sound and the brain, discovering what happens in our minds when we hear our favorite tunes. We'll see how different types of music, happy, sad, calming, or energizing, can actually shape our mood and emotional state. We'll also look at the amazing world of music therapy, where music is used to help treat conditions like anxiety, depression, or PTSD, backed by scientific research. On a practical note, we'll share tips for using music in your daily life to find balance, focus, motivation, or relaxation. Along the way, I'll highlight some interesting studies and heartwarming stories that show just how powerful music can be for our mental well-being. By the end, you might look at your playlists in a whole new way and perhaps reflect on your own musical habits and emotional health. Transition, gentle upbeat background music fades in. Narrator. So, let's dive in. First up, we need to understand what's actually happening in our brains when we listen to music and why it has such an emotional punch. Science of sound and the brain. Narrator. Music isn't just processed by our ears, it's a full brain workout. When you press play on a song, your brain lights up in multiple regions, each handling different aspects of the sound. Let's break down the science in an accessible way. Narrator. As the sound waves of music enter your ears, the brain's auditory centers, primarily in the temporal lobe, get to work decoding the rhythm, melody, and harmonies. But unlike many ordinary sounds, music taps into the brain's reward system. Ever gotten chills or a wave of pleasure from a great song? That's your brain releasing dopamine, the same feel-good neurotransmitter that's released when we eat something delicious or experience pleasure. One famous 2011 study by neuroscience researchers Valerie Salimpour and Robert Zautori actually showed that when people listen to their favorite music, dopamine levels surged in the brain's pleasure center, the nucleus accumbens, during the peak emotional moments of the song. In fact, the brain even started releasing dopamine in anticipation of the best part of the music, as if bracing for the emotional payoff. That explains those tingles or chills you might feel right before a big drop or chorus. Your brain's reward circuitry is lighting up like a pinball machine. Narrator. This reward response is so strong that some scientists compare music to addictive stimuli. As one neuroscientist put it, music can be a drug, a very addictive drug, because it's acting on the same part of the brain as illegal drugs. Now, of course, music is a healthy high, but this comparison highlights just how deeply our brain craves those musical rewards. When that dopamine hits, we feel pleasure, motivation, sometimes even euphoria, all from a song. And it's not just dopamine. Listening to music also triggers the release of other neurochemicals. For example, research shows music can prompt the release of endorphins, are natural painkillers that create a sense of comfort and joy. If you've ever felt a sense of relief or emotional release singing along to a power ballad, that's partly chemistry at work. Narrator: beyond the chemical rush, music engages brain regions that govern our emotions and memories. The amygdala, which processes emotions like fear and pleasure, is highly active when we listen to music. That's why a suspenseful violin note in a horror movie soundtrack can make your heart race with fear. While a gentle lullaby can soothe you, the music is literally influencing the amygdala's fear and pleasure responses. Those shivers down your spine during an epic orchestral swell? That's the amygdala in action too, reacting to the emotional intensity of the music. Meanwhile, the hippocampus, the brain's memory center, links music to memories. Ever had a song come on that instantly transports you back to a specific moment in your life? Perhaps your high school graduation song or a track from your first road trip. The hippocampus is retrieving those memories and the emotions tied to them. This is why music can make us intensely nostalgic. It's like a key that unlocks the doors to vivid past experiences stored in the brain. Narrator: music even reaches into the brain's command center for bodily functions. The hypothalamus, which helps regulate things like heart rate, blood pressure, and hormones, also responds to music. Slow, calming music, say, a soft classical piece, can signal the hypothalamus to lower your heart rate and blood pressure, helping you physically. If you've noticed your breathing slows down when a mellow song plays, it's not your imagination. Your body is sensing with the music. On the flip side, an upbeat song might get your blood pumping a bit faster. Rhythmic music activates motor regions like the cerebellum and putamen, which coordinate movement. This is why it's almost impossible to resist tapping your foot or nodding your head when a catchy beat plays. Your brain's movement centers are being stimulated. Amazingly, therapists even use this effect to help Parkinson's patients improve their gait with rhythmic cues, showing music's influence on the brain-body connection. Narrator: in short, music doesn't just tickle one little music spot in the brain. It engages emotion circuits, reward circuits, memory circuits, and even the systems that control our hormones and movements. It's like a whole brain fireworks show. With all these systems involved, it makes sense that music has such a powerful impact on our mood. Our brains are wired to feel music. Happy songs can flood us with dopamine and endorphins. Energetic beats can literally energize our body, and sad melodies can trigger deep emotional responses. Now that we have an idea of the brain science, the hardware and chemistry behind music, let's explore how these reactions translate into regulating our moods and emotions in everyday life. Mood regulation. Narrator: so we know music lights up the brain's emotion and reward centers, but how does that play out in terms of mood? Let's talk about how different types of music can influence how we feel, and how we often use music to manage our emotions, sometimes without even realizing it. Narrator: think about the music you choose when you're happy versus when you're sad. We often intuitively select songs that match or shift our mood. This isn't just a habit, it's a form of emotion regulation. In fact, psychologists note that people regularly use music to control their mood and arousal levels. For example, if you're feeling sluggish or unmotivated, you might put on an upbeat, lively song to charge yourself up. The science backs this up. Listening to upbeat, happy music can literally give you a more optimistic outlook, even in stressful situations. One study showed that when people listen to positive, energetic tunes, it could change the way they perceive challenges, making things feel more manageable or giving them a boost of confidence. We all know that song that makes us feel like we can conquer the world, right? Maybe it's a high-tempo rock anthem or a pop song with empowering lyrics. That musical pep talk can increase motivation and uplift your mood by pumping dopamine and even adrenaline into your system, getting you ready to tackle whatever is ahead. Narrator: on the other end of the spectrum, what about when you're anxious or stressed? Many of us turn to calming music, something gentle, slow, or soothing when we need to relax, and it works. Soft, slow-tempo music like mellow classical pieces or ambient sounds has been shown to reduce feelings of anxiety and physical markers of stress. Research has found that calming music can lower our heart rate and even reduce levels of cortisol, the stress hormone in our blood. In other words, the right relaxing playlist can literally signal your body to unwind. Hospitals have even used soft music to help patients stay calm before surgery, since it can lower physiological stress responses. One psychology overview in 2020 concluded that listening to music not only reduces stress hormones and heart rate, but also releases those feel-good endorphins and can ease both physical and emotional tension. So, next time you've had a hectic day, those chill tunes in the evening are a scientifically sound choice to help you decompress. Narrator, now, here's a fascinating and kind of counterintuitive aspect of mood and music: sad music. Why on earth would we listen to sad songs when we're already feeling down? It turns out that many people do this as a form of catharsis or comfort. A mournful melody or heart-wrenching ballad can actually help us process emotions. Psychologists say that listening to sad music when you're sad can feel like an empathetic friend who gets what you're going through. It validates your feelings. Biologically, sad music can also trigger the release of a hormone called prolactin, which is associated with crying and consolation. Prolactin is like the body's natural soothing chemical. It helps curb grief and produces a calming effect after we cry. So when a song moves you to tears and you feel that sense of relief afterward, that's partly prolactin at work, helping you feel calmer. In this way, a melancholy tune can actually lead to feeling better by providing an emotional release. Have you ever had a good cry with a sad song and then, oddly enough, felt a bit relieved? That's the paradoxical but real therapeutic effect sad music can have. Of course, this isn't the case for everyone. Some people might feel worse with sad music, especially if it leads to rumination. It depends on the individual and the situation. But for many, there is a comfort in those somber chords. Narrator, it's also interesting how the lyrics or a message of a song can affect mood. An angry breakup song might amplify your frustration, whereas a song about hope and perseverance might inspire you when you're feeling low. And sometimes the mood impact of music isn't just about matching how we feel. It can actively change how we feel. For instance, you might be in a funk and decide, I need to cheer up, so you put on a playful, upbeat playlist. Research suggests this conscious use of music to improve mood can be effective. In one experiment, people who actively tried to boost their mood by listening to upbeat music did report feeling happier afterwards than those who just listened without that. It's as if deciding to let the music lift you up actually works as a self-fulfilling strategy. Narrator, different types of music affect us in different ways. Tempo and rhythm play a big role. Fast-paced music tends to energize us, while slow music tends to relax us. Melody and key matter too. Songs in a major key often sound cheerful or triumphant to Western ears, whereas minor key songs sound sad or tense, though this can be culturally influenced. Even the volume and complexity have effects. Loud, chaotic music might feel overwhelming when you're stressed, but to someone else it might provide an outlet for anger. Interestingly, one article noted that softer music like gentle classical is generally better for easing negative emotions than heavy, hard music, so swapping out death metal for a piano sonata might actually help if you're trying to calm down from a bad day. Unless heavy metal is your calming music, everyone's different. The bottom line is that music is a flexible tool for mood management. Whether we need to vent, to hype ourselves up, or to find peace, there's likely a genre or song that can meet that emotional need. Narrator, we shouldn't forget that individual preference and personal association are huge. A classical piece might relax one person but bore another. A pop song might annoy one person but bring back joyful memories for someone else. The most effective mood-regulating music is often the music that means something to you personally. That's because your brain has that rich network of memories and emotions linked to those songs. So while we can talk about general trends, upbeat equals happy, slow equals calm, etc., your mileage may vary. It's important to choose the music that you know works for you in a given moment. Many of us do this intuitively. We have our chill out playlist, our get motivated playlist, our feel the feelings playlist. We become our own DJs of emotion. Narrator. So we've seen that music can regulate mood by pumping us up, calming us down, or helping us release emotion. Given this powerful effect, it's no surprise that therapists and doctors have started using music in a more structured way to help people with mental health issues. Let's move on to how music is being used in therapy to improve mental well-being in a clinical context. Music therapy. Narrator. If music can comfort, inspire, and heal in everyday life, imagine harnessing that power deliberately in a therapeutic setting. Music therapy is exactly that, the use of music by trained professionals to help people improve their mental, emotional, and even physical health. It's a recognized therapeutic discipline, often practiced by credentialed music therapists who use music in various forms: listening, singing, instrument playing, songwriting, etc. to meet patients' needs. Narrator. So what does music therapy look like? It can take many forms. For someone with anxiety, a music therapist might use guided relaxation with music or help the person express their worries through writing lyrics. For someone with depression, therapy might involve listening to songs that reflect their feelings and then discussing them, or maybe actively making music to boost mood and engagement. One big advantage of music therapy is that it doesn't rely solely on verbal communication. This can be crucial for people who have trouble expressing themselves with words, such as individuals with trauma who find it hard to talk about their experiences, or children with autism, or patients with dementia. Music provides an alternative channel for expression. A person might not want to talk about how they feel, but maybe they can play how they feel on a drum, or they can pick a song that becomes their voice. This can be incredibly therapeutic. Music therapy also meets people where they are. Even if someone is bedridden or withdrawn, a therapist can bring in a simple instrument or a playlist and start from there. It's accessible and adaptable. Narrator. Importantly, music therapy is evidence-based. There's a growing body of research showing its benefits for various mental health conditions. For example, multiple studies and reviews have found that music therapy can significantly reduce symptoms of depression. In one meta-analysis, people who received music therapy alongside standard depression treatment like talk therapy or medication improved more than those who just had the standard treatment alone. The music therapy patients reported better mood and often better functioning. Listening to music, as we discussed, releases dopamine and endorphins. Those neurochemicals can play a role in alleviating depressive feelings and even relieving pain. While music therapy isn't a magic cure for depression, it often provides short-term relief, helps people express themselves, and can spark motivation and positive emotions that patients might not feel otherwise. Narrator. For anxiety and stress, music therapy techniques like rhythmic breathing with music or improvising on an instrument to release tension have been shown to lower anxiety levels. Even outside a formal therapy setting, we saw how music lowers cortisol and heart rate. In therapy, the effects can be guided and amplified. For instance, hospital studies have used music therapy to reduce anxiety in patients with cancer or before surgeries, noting decreases in stress hormone levels and self-reported anxiety. The great thing is that music can engage relaxation responses in the body without the side effects that medications have. Narrator. Music therapy is also used for people with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, particularly for trauma survivors and military veterans. It can be extremely hard for someone with PTSD to talk about their traumatic memories or to find ways to cope with flashbacks and anxiety. Music offers a pathway to process those feelings safely. A compelling example comes from a program called Guitars for Vets with the US. Veterans Affairs VA, in a pilot study, a group of veterans with significant PTSD symptoms were given guitar training as a form of therapy. Basically, they learned to play guitar and met for group music sessions over 6 weeks. The results were impressive. The veterans who participated showed a marked reduction in their PTSD symptoms by the end of the program. Not only that, they also had decreased depression symptoms and reported a higher quality of life. Learning an instrument and making music became an outlet for them to express and manage the intense emotions associated with trauma. Many of those vets continued playing music afterward as a coping tool. This is just one example, but across various studies of music therapy with trauma survivors, we see improvements, whether it's through songwriting, putting one story into a song, drumming circles that release tension, or simple listening exercises to reduce hyperalertness. Music can create a safe space for healing invisible wounds. Narrator. Another area is music therapy for neurological conditions that affect mental health, such as dementia or Alzheimer's disease. Patients with dementia often struggle with confusion, agitation, and depression due to their memory loss and disorientation. Remarkably, music can cut through that fog. Caregivers and therapists use music from the patient's past to ground them and improve their mood. You might have seen videos of unresponsive Alzheimer's patients suddenly singing along to a familiar song from their youth. It's quite magical. We'll talk more about a specific story in a moment, but in general, research has found that for people with dementia, music can improve mood, reduce anxiety, and even enhance some cognitive functions temporarily. It's thought that musical memory is stored in parts of the brain that are last affected by Alzheimer's, so a beloved song can tap into preserved circuits and bring a bit of the person back into the moment. In therapy, music is used to engage these patients, get them smiling and humming, which often also reduces their depression or agitation. Narrator. Music therapy isn't limited to these conditions. It's also used for children with developmental disorders, for managing pain, like using music to reduce the perception of pain in chronic illness or during childbirth. And even in rehabilitative therapy for speech or motor skills, rhythmic music helps with speech therapy for stroke patients, for example. The unifying theme is that music can reach people when other methods fall short. It provides a non-threatening, enjoyable way to work on very tough issues. And it often brings a sense of joy or accomplishment into therapy, which can be so valuable for someone who's struggling. Just learning to play a simple song on a piano or drum can give a patient a boost of self-esteem and hope. There's evidence that engaging in music, creating something tuneful, enhances mood and confidence. It activates the reward system we talked about, giving the person a positive experience to associate with healing. Narrator. To summarize this section, clinicians are increasingly using music as a therapeutic tool, and research supports its benefits for mental health. From easing depression and anxiety to helping trauma survivors and people with dementia, music therapy bridges the gap between emotions and healing. It's a beautiful example of science and art coming together. Now, while formal music therapy is guided by a professional, you can also harness some of music's therapeutic benefits on your own in daily life. So next, let's discuss some everyday applications, practical tips on using music intentionally for your own well-being. Everyday applications. Narrator. You don't need to be in a therapist's office to use music for your mental well-being. We all have access to this powerful tool anytime, on our phones, in our homes, in the car. Let's talk about some simple, everyday ways you can use music to help regulate your mood, reduce stress, boost focus, or otherwise improve your mental state. Here are a few tips and ideas. Stress relief and relaxation. If you're feeling stressed, anxious, or having trouble winding down, try playing some calm, slow-tempo music. Gentle classical music, mellow jazz, ambient sounds, or even calming nature soundtracks can signal your body to relax. This kind of music tends to lower heart rate and blood pressure, helping melt away tension. For example, soft piano or guitar melodies in the evening can create a peaceful atmosphere, telling your brain it's okay to let go of the day's worries. Many people find that listening to calming music before bed improves their sleep quality by easing them into a relaxed state. Experiment with what relaxing means for you. It could be instrumental spa music, lo-fi chill beats, or a playlist of favorite soft songs. The key is a slower rhythm and soothing tone. Pro tip: keep the volume at a comfortable, low level and focus on the music with slow, deep breaths. You'll notice your muscles unclenching and your mind slowing down. Mood uplift on bad days. When you wake up on the wrong side of the bed or feel a case of the blues, consider using music as a pick-me-up. Create a happy playlist filled with songs that never fail to make you smile or songs with upbeat tempos and positive lyrics. It could be bubbly pop, energetic dance music, funky grooves, whatever puts you in a good mood. The act of listening to upbeat music can nudge your brain toward a happier state. One trick is to choose a song that you find impossible not to sing along or dance to. Actively engaging by singing even badly in the shower or car or dancing releases even more endorphins. Don't worry if you don't feel instantly joyful. Sometimes the uplift is gradual. Interestingly, research suggests that intentionally trying to improve your mood with music can be effective, so telling yourself this song will cheer me up might actually help it do so. Also, nostalgic favorites can work wonders. A song that reminds you of happy times can bring back that warm, fuzzy feeling. Next time you're down, press play on something lively or heartwarming and let the music coax your mood upward. Focus and productivity. Many people use music as a backdrop for work, studying, or creative projects. The right kind of music can help you concentrate by masking distracting noises and providing a steady, motivating background. Typically, instrumental music or tracks with minimal lyrics work best for focus, so the words don't steal your attention. Classical music is a popular choice. The so-called Mozart effect idea, where classical music might boost cognitive performance, is debatable, but it's certainly effective for some people in creating a focused ambience. Other options include electronic chill music, lo-fi hip-hop beats, or even video game soundtracks, which are designed to keep you engaged without distracting. If you're doing repetitive or creative tasks, you might enjoy more upbeat tunes. If you're doing heavy reading or writing, something subtle and atmospheric may be better. Pay attention to how different music affects your concentration. Some find that music improves their focus and mood, making work more enjoyable, while others may need silence for very complex tasks. One practical tip is to use instrumental playlists, specifically curated for concentration. Many streaming services have these like Deep Focus or Study Jazz, etc. They can help reduce stress and keep you in a rhythm, especially during tasks that might otherwise feel tedious. Motivation and energy. Need to energize yourself for a workout, household chores, or a Monday morning. Music is your friend. Up-tempo, high-energy music can psych you up and even trick your brain into feeling more vigorous. Create a workout playlist with tracks around, say, 120 to 150 beats per minute, something with a strong beat that makes you want to move. Research in sports psychology shows that upbeat music can increase endurance and reduce the perception of effort, meaning you won't feel as tired even while working hard. That's why gyms play fast, pumping music. For mundane tasks like cleaning the house, turning on some catchy tunes can make it more fun and boost your enthusiasm. You might find yourself dancing with the vacuum, and why not? There's also the use of music in the morning. Playing an energizing song as your get out of bed anthem can set a positive tone for the day. It's like a sonic cup of coffee. On the flip side, if you need motivation to calm down, like you're angry or panicky and want to center yourself, a powerful but slow piece of music can help channel that energy into a more calm focus. So whether it's to get pumped or to get composed, pick music that has the energy level you aspire to. Emotional expression and processing. Sometimes the best way to use music is to let it help you express what you're feeling. This can be as simple as curating a playlist that matches your mood. Your sad playlist for when you need a good cry, your fears playlist for when you need confidence, etc. It validates your emotions. You can also actively engage, sing along to a song that says what you can't put into words, or pick up an instrument if you play and jam out your feelings. Even if you're not a musician, don't underestimate the value of singing in the shower or humming to yourself. Singing has been shown to release endorphins and oxytocin, a hormone linked to bonding and stress relief, especially in group settings like choirs, but even solo singing can boost your mood and reduce stress. If you're really inspired, you might write some lyrics or a simple melody about what you're feeling. It's a great emotional outlet. The goal isn't to produce a hit song, it's just to externalize your feelings creatively. Many people find that after playing or singing, they feel a weight off their shoulders. It's like talking to a friend, except the friend is the music. So next time you're overflowing with emotion, joy, anger, sadness, anything, consider using music to express it. Play that song that gets you, or belt out that chorus that mirrors your soul. It can be deeply cathartic. Routine and ritual. Incorporate music into your daily routines as a way to guide your mood. For example, have a calming evening playlist that signals to your brain it's time to unwind, maybe jazz or acoustic tunes while you have dinner or take a bath. In the morning, have a cheerful song that you play as you brush your teeth or make breakfast too. Put you in a positive frame of mind. Over time, your brain will start to associate those songs with those activities and moods, making it easier to shift into relaxation mode or wake-up mode. If you have kids, you might use a specific lullaby or soft song every night at bedtime. It works for adults too, establishing a musical cue for sleepiness during work breaks. A quick 5-minute break to listen to a favorite song and maybe stretch can recharge you better than just scrolling on your phone. The idea is to use music deliberately as a tool throughout your day, not just randomly. By creating these little musical rituals, you can train your mind and body to respond with the intended relaxation, focus, or energy. Narrator, these are just a few ideas. Everyone's relationship with music is personal. The beauty is there's no wrong way to use music for well-being, as long as it's helping you. Be mindful, though. If you find yourself listening to a certain kind of music that is dragging you into a worse mood, for example, wallowing in extremely sad songs for days on end and feeling stuck, you might want to switch things up and see if a different style can break the cycle. Music should ultimately serve you and your mental health. It's like a free, always available toolkit. Need relaxation? There's a song for that. Need motivation? There's a song for that too. And remember, engaging actively singing, dancing, clapping can amplify the benefits. Plus, it's fun and adds a physical release. Narrator, by incorporating some of these practices, you can turn music from a passive entertainment into an active ally for your mental well-being. Next, to wrap up our exploration, let's look at a few interesting studies and stories that highlight just how impactful music can be on mood and mental health. These examples will tie together the science with real-world experiences, showing the magic of music in action. Interesting studies and stories. Narrator, throughout this video, we've touched on research and examples of music's impact. Now, let's spotlight a few particularly fascinating studies and stories that drive the point home in a memorable way. The power of music to get chills. Earlier, we mentioned those goosebumps you get from a powerful song. Let's revisit that with a story. A neuroscientist named Valerie Salamport once recounted how she was driving while listening to Brahms's Hungarian dance No. 5, and the music moved her so intensely that she had to pull her car over because of the overwhelming emotion. This experience made her wonder, what is music doing to my brain to make me feel this way? So she conducted a study, and that led to the discovery we talked about, that music can cause a rush of dopamine in the brain's reward centers, the same chemical reaction associated with things like delicious food or falling in love. They even found that the brain anticipates the best parts of the song, spiking dopamine just before the climax of the music. This was a groundbreaking finding because it scientifically validated something music lovers have always felt, that music can induce euphoria and physical reactions like chills. It's an interesting study because it connected a very human experience being emotionally floored by a song with hard neuroscience. It tells a story of how deeply and primally music affects us. Our brains respond to a beautiful melody almost like it's a rewarding, pleasurable drug. Music is a lifeline in Alzheimer's disease. One of the most heartwarming illustrations of music's impact on the mind comes from working with Alzheimer's patients. You might think when someone has severe Alzheimer's and can't remember family members or even words, music wouldn't matter, but often it still does. There's a moving story of a woman named Marty who had advanced Alzheimer's and had lost almost all ability to converse. Her son, a musician named Adam, would visit and play guitar for her regularly. When he played her favorite songs from decades ago, something amazing happened. Marty, who normally could barely speak a word, would start humming or whistling along to the melody. Her eyes would light up and she'd become engaged, as if awakened by the music. As her son described it, Alzheimer's disease has crushed Marty's memory. But somehow the pathway to musical melodies remains clear, and along that pathway mother and son could communicate. This anecdote aligns with research findings that musical memory and the emotional response to music often endure even as other memory and cognitive functions deteriorate. The story spread on the internet, with videos of Marty responding to music touching millions of viewers. It's a powerful reminder that music can reach places in the heart and brain that nothing else can. For Marty, hearing results, patients become calmer, less anxious, more cooperative with caregivers, and generally in better spirits when they have regular access to familiar music. It's science and story combined, showing that the emotional impact of music can outlast even devastating neurological illness. Guitars for Vets, healing PTSD through music. We already talked about the pilot study with veterans learning guitar, but it's worth highlighting as a story of hope. Picture a group of veterans, some of whom are struggling with painful memories of combat, anxiety, nightmares, and depression. Traditional therapy helps, but it can be slow and challenging. Now introduce guitars and music lessons into the mix. At first, some vets might be skeptical. How can strumming a guitar help with PTSD? But over weeks, as they learn chords and start playing simple songs, you see a transformation. The act of learning an instrument gives focus and a sense of achievement. Group jam sessions create camaraderie and a fun, safe space, a contrast to the darkness PTSD can bring. By the program's end, not only do they have a new skill and hobby, but measurements of their mental health show improvement. In that VA-supported program, veterans reported significantly lower PTSD symptoms. Many felt less anxiety and better able to cope, and their depression levels dropped too. One vet described playing music as a way to get my feelings out without having to talk, and how hitting the right notes or mastering a tune built back confidence. This story illustrates a key point: engaging with music, not just listening, but creating, can be profoundly therapeutic. It gives control back to the individual. You literally make something beautiful music out of your pain or stress. The success of initiatives like Guitars for Vets has led to more programs incorporating music for veterans and trauma survivors, from drum circles to songwriting workshops. It's an inspiring example of resilience, how even in the face of intense mental health struggles, something as accessible as a musical instrument can open a door towards healing. Music in the pandemic, a coping mechanism. A very recent story that many of us shared collectively is how we turned to music during the COVID-19 pandemic. When the world went into lockdown and our lives were appended, people found solace in songs. Maybe you attended a Zoom karaoke or played uplifting music to drown out the silence of quarantine, or participated in those balcony singing events that popped up in some cities. Researchers took note of this phenomenon. A study in 2020 surveyed people during lockdown and found that about half of the respondents intentionally increased their music listening to improve their mood or to feel more connected while isolated. Many people reported that music was a crucial coping tool. It helped them deal with feelings of fear, loneliness, and stress by regulating emotions and providing comfort. One of the most common responses in the survey was that music lifted their spirits and gave them hope in a very difficult. Globally, we saw trends like upticks in calming music streams for relaxation or nostalgic music as people sought comfort in older favorites. Even healthcare workers in hospitals were using music. There were stories of ICU nurses playing patients' favorite songs to soothe them. When families couldn't visit, the pandemic highlighted, on a large scale, how people instinctively use music as emotional first aid. It's a testament to music's universal impact on mental health. In a time of crisis, we reached for melody and rhythm to help us survive emotionally. This story is really a collection of millions of personal stories, and perhaps you can recall your own, a song that helped you during that time, an online concert that lifted your mood, or just dancing in your living room to release tension. It's living proof of everything we've discussed. Music is not just entertainment, it's a source of psychological support. Narrator, these stories and studies, from brain scans of dopamine released to personal tales of relief and joy, all paint the same picture. Music has a remarkable impact on the human psyche. It can spark joy, bring solace in sorrow, unite people, and even help heal invisible wounds. Whether it's an individual finding calm through a favorite lullaby or a scientific study quantifying improved mood in hundreds of people, the evidence is all around us. Narrator, as we wrap up our journey into the world of music and mental health, one thing should be clear: music is far more than mere entertainment. It's a powerful influence on our minds and moods. We've seen how, biologically, music threads itself through our brain, tapping into reward pathways, emotional centers, and memory banks. We've learned that a cheerful tune can brighten our outlook and a soothing melody can quiet a worried mind. We've also discovered that even the songs that make us cry have their place in healing, helping release pain and provide comfort. And in more extreme cases, like trauma or Alzheimer's, music can break through where other methods can't, offering moments of connection and peace. Narrator, think about your own life for a moment. How do you use music? Perhaps you have songs for working out, songs for relaxing, songs that you cry to when no one's watching, and songs that never fail to make you dance. You might not have realized it, but you've likely been using music to modulate your mood all along, to motivate yourself, to empathize with your feelings, or to escape for a little while. Now, with a bit of insight into the science behind it, you can use this tool even more mindfully. The next time you're feeling stressed, you might remember that a few minutes of your favorite calming music can literally lower your cortisol and ease that tension. When you're sad, you might consciously choose that playlist that you know lets you process those emotions, or intentionally switch to something positive when you're ready to feel better. When you need to focus, you'll know why an instrumental groove might help get you in the zone. Essentially, you can become the DJ of your own mental well-being, curating the soundtrack that supports your life. Narrator, one great thing about music as a mood regulator is that it's accessible and personal. You don't need any special equipment beyond maybe a device to play it, and even if not, humming a tune works. It's with us in our phones and our heads wherever we go. And it's highly personal. You get to choose what works for you. There's no one-size-fits-all. Classical music might relax your friend, but maybe heavy metal does the trick for you, and that's completely fine. The goal is not to force a certain kind of music because it's supposed to help, but to find the music that genuinely resonates with you and use it intentionally. Narrator, before we end, I encourage you to reflect on a question. What role does music play in your mental health? Perhaps after this video, you'll notice it more. Pay attention to how the music around you influences your mood in the moment. You might discover that you can tweak your daily music habits to improve your overall emotional balance. Maybe start a new routine, like a morning pump-up song or an evening wind-down track. Or consider exploring new genres. You might find calming or uplifting effects in unexpected places. Narrator, also consider sharing the gift of music. If you have a friend going through a hard time, maybe send them a song that has comforted you. Or if you found a technique like a certain playlist for anxiety, share that knowledge. Music connects us, and talking about it can strengthen social bonds, which are themselves great for mental health. Narrator, in conclusion, the impact of music on mood and mental health is profound and multifaceted. It's emotional, physical, and neurological. It's at play when a national anthem unites a crowd in hope, when a lullaby soothes a baby, and when a breakup song helps someone heal a broken heart. Our everyday experiences, backed by an increasing amount of scientific research, confirm that music is a powerful ally for our psychological well-being. So let's embrace it. Feel the freedom to dance like nobody's watching when you need a boost, or to sink into a comfy chair with soft tunes when you need comfort. Use that power wisely and joyfully. Narrator, thank you for joining me in this exploration. I hope next time you listen to your favorite song, you not only enjoy it, but also appreciate the incredible way it's touching your brain and mood. Keep listening, keep singing, and let the music play. Your mind and heart will be better for it. Until next time, take care and stay tuned to the music of your life.